which is probably why I was able to graduate with a good score and go to college. Like any other kid, I was able to do everything that I wanted to, and for that, I only had my grandmother to thank. My parents continued to visit my grandmother occasionally, but they would never see me and I could stay out of their way. Every time that my parents would visit, I would leave the house and only come back after I knew for a fact that they had left. They did not seem to care about this, and neither did I. That went on for a couple of years, but then, my grandmother had a big fight with them about this and told them that they were horrible parents for not even attempting to talk to me, especially when I was doing better, and had a reason to talk to me and apologize for what they had done. They refused to even acknowledge that they had made a mistake while raising me and pretended like they were perfect parents. I was just a bad kid. They had called me a rotten apple and a freak, yet again, and my grandma lost it. So she told them never to come back, and they stuck to it. They were so egoistic that they just couldn't accept the fact that they were not good parents to me, and that's why it turned out the way that I did when I was 14. But because of my grandma's guidance, I had improved. And yet, they did not seem to be able to comprehend that. So after that, there was no talking to them anymore. For almost 10 years, my grandma and I did not talk to them and pretended like these people never existed for us. I achieved so much and hit so many milestones, but I never spoke to my parents, and neither did they ever reach out to me, even though I had social media and I had never blocked them. They could have reached out to me, they just chose not to, and only now had they reached out to me. And that's because my grandma passed away a couple of months ago. It was very upsetting for me, since she was the only person that I had who genuinely had my back, no matter what. Even though we had not been living together for the past couple of years, since I moved out for college and then graduated, and got a place of my own. She was still my rock and my support system, so life has been very different without her, and I was still trying to cope with her loss when I heard from my parents. Not even 6 months have passed since she passed away, but they are already on my door, demanding that I share my inheritance with them because apparently, my very normal and healthy brother is not doing better than I am, as they had expected. And now, they need my help to clean up the mess that he had made. They visited me a few days ago, and my brother was not with them, which was surprising because before that, every time they would visit, my brother would always come along. I decided to interact with them and talk to them because I had actually thought that they were here to apologize, but after a bit of small talk and condolences, they came straight to the point. They told me that while he was in college, my brother had developed a bit of a drug habit, and now, it had started affecting his ability to work. I don't know why they were trying to downplay it, because from what I gathered, he was in serious trouble and needed help. So now, they wanted me to share my inheritance with them, whenever I would come into the money, so they would be able to pay for rehab. I asked them why he could not just attend one of the low-cost programs, which they could afford, and they told me that they had tried, but it was not good enough for him, and he needed a residential program which apparently costs a lot. Now, I personally don't know anybody who has been to rehab, and I don't know how much it costs, and I'm not gonna do enough work to actually find out the cost. All I know is that I have my own money now since I have a good job. I'm comfortable, and I know that my grandmother was also pretty well off since my grandfather had left her a lot of money and she had invested it pretty carefully, which is really good for me, but bad for my parents, because in spite of knowing that, they were too proud to keep in touch with her, or even apologize to her towards the very end, knowing that they would probably need the money. Anyway, I did not care about any of that. I just told my parents that I was ready to help them out with whatever amount they needed, but there was just one condition that I had. And that was that they would have to publicly acknowledge everything that they had done in the past, the terrible way that they had treated me, the things that they had said to me, and also the way that they had treated my grandmother. And then, I wanted them to also acknowledge that now, they needed my help, and why they needed the money from me, so that everybody would be able to know what was going on with us. Because for years, we had kept things private, because my grandma did not want any drama. But now that they had come to me and had the audacity to ask me for help, to share my grandmother's money with them, in spite of the way that they had been treating us for the past 10 years, I thought that this was necessary. I did not feel bad in the slightest while asking this of them, since I wanted them to publicly say everything that they had done wrong. And when I said this to them, their faces literally fell. They tried to negotiate with me and told me that I was being unreasonable and kind of selfish, but I told them that this was my condition, and they could take it or leave it. I had no issues with providing them with the money that they needed. I had nothing against my brother anymore, and neither did they have anything against them. But they definitely would have to acknowledge what they did in order for me to completely move on from what happened. Because they had treated me badly, there was no way around it. And they had also not been nice to my grandmother, and this was the money that we were talking about. So if they wanted for money, they had to acknowledge what they had done. It was as simple as that. I don't know why they were being so weird about it. But when I told them this, they started calling me heartless, emotionless, and said that they had never expected something like this from me. I told them they shouldn't have expected anything from me at all, given the fact we hadn't even been speaking for the past 10 years. And now, if they wanted my help, they would have to acknowledge and accept their mistakes and apologize for them. That is it. I do not want to hear anything more about it. They left after that, after a lot of prying and accusations, but I did not budge. And now, they are trying to change my mind and telling me that my brother is in a really bad condition and that he needs my help, but I don't understand why they expect you to just do things for them when I never expect them to do anything for me. My grandmother and I only had each other. They never bothered to help us or even check up on how we were doing. Even when my grandmother passed away, they probably would not have been able to find out much I hadn't told my relatives, and that's how they even came to know about the funeral and stuff. So why should I help people who have had nothing to do with us for the past 10 years? Even then, I just want to make sure, Ida, for telling my parents that I won't help them financially if they don't accept and acknowledge their mistakes publicly. A big one, thank you for all the comments on my original post. I am doing just fine, thank you so much for asking. It's been really difficult for me to deal with the loss of my grandmother, but she was really old and I'm glad that she's in a better place now. She lived her life to the fullest, and I know that she did not pass away with any regrets. So thank you for the concern and the condolences. Anyway, coming to my parents, are still trying to bother me all night, but I've told them that if they don't do as I said, they can give up any hope of inheriting any money. I know that my grandmother left everything to me in her will, and I am sure that my parents know about it as well since the lawyer had sent out an email. And now, all they can do is sit and wallow in the retreat. I'm not going to go back on my word. It has been 1 week since I last spoke to them, and since none of their police have been working with me, they have resorted to sending me photos of my brother, and it looks bad. He is in a pathetic condition and they keep sending me pictures of him, telling me that this is a guy who needs my help, and that I should really step up and do something for him. To that, I only have one thing to say: where were they when I needed their kind of help? They abandoned me, and I was just lucky that my grandmother had my back, but otherwise, I don't know where I would have ended up. They did not care about me, and as much as I feel bad for my brother, I can't help them if they don't apologize for what they did. And it has to be public because I want everyone to know what kind of people they really are. If they can keep their egos aside, just for this one thing, I guess I'll help them out. Because honestly, for me, it's about shattering their pride. It was their pride that made them do everything, and now, if they really want to help the child that they claim to love, they have to keep it aside. So now I just want to see what comes first for them, my brother or their pride. Update 2. 10 days have passed since I last spoke to my parents, and after a while, I just stopped responding to their messages. So now, they showed up at my place again. A couple of hours ago, they visited me again, but this time, they brought my brother along with them, and it was bad. At the door itself, I told them that they could not do this, and if anything, their behavior was only damaging their chances of getting anything out of me. Because I was not comfortable with them doing this, not even to my brother, since I could only imagine how dehumanizing it was to be used as a puppet. I told them to get out, and for a while, they refused to move and told me that if I wanted them to leave, I would have to promise them that I would help them as soon as I could. I told them that I would not be making any promises of the sort, and if they tried to mess with me, I would call the police on them, and it would not be too good for them, given the condition of my brother. That scared them, and they left, but my dad told me that both my grandmother and I were the most selfish people on the planet. And that's coming from them, considering how they dumped me on her doorstep, just because they could not deal with a special needs kid. Actually, they did not want to deal with me, because I was not the perfect little boy that they expected me to be. If my grandmother and I are selfish, the words that they are not even being budgeted yet. Update 3. Hi, so I kind of forgot to post here because I got really busy with work. Anyway, almost 2 months have passed since my last update, and a lot of things have changed. For instance, my parents are blocked now and they have no way to contact me anymore because I have moved into a better apartment in a new neighborhood. So, they don't have the address to that in the shop. I have made it known to all my relatives that they are not supposed to give out my address to anybody, especially my parents. Because the last time, somebody had decided that my parents deserved to know where I lived since their son was suffered and had given them my address. Which is how they had to come to contact me, but this time, I made sure that was not going to happen. Anyway, after the last time that we spoke when my dad called me selfish, I decided to block them after that. Because honestly, I did not want this drama anymore. They had shown me that for them, their pride was always going to come first. It came above every single thing in their life, even the son that they claimed to actually love. I could accept that they never loved me and never wanted me because of my dyslexia and ADHD and the plethora of problems that I had. But my brother was somebody who they had always claimed they loved and was perfect to them, so how they could not make one little sacrifice for him was beyond me. All they had to do was acknowledge that they had made a mistake. It would have been pretty easy to do as well because, even though we had tried our best to keep things private, most of our family was already aware of the bad blood between us. So it was not like they were going to acknowledge something that nobody had known. Even then, they did not want to apologize for the mistakes because in their heads, they had never done anything wrong and they were perfect. Well, they can keep their beliefs to themselves. And I'm going to keep my inheritance for myself, fair enough.